Hey everybody, welcome. It's Andrew Ainsworth Golf Academy. As always, very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in, watching the video today. Let's get the advertisements out of the way first of all. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, please consider hitting that button down there in that bottom corner, the subscribe button. There's also a little bell icon you can hit which will alert you when I post new videos. So if you haven't done that, that would be great. What have we got for you today? Always exciting when Mizuno launch a new range of product, and in my hands here I have the new MP-20 iron. 3 irons in the range. I'm going to talk about their blade today, to be specific what Mizuno are calling their tapered blade. So if you're into soft, beautifully forged, bladed irons, stay tuned. Okay everybody, let's talk about this. Mizuno, how do you want to pronounce it? Entirely up to you. I'm going to call it Mizuno. Had an amazing pedigree over the years, haven't they, of producing beautiful bladed irons. You know, they've been played by major champions like Tiger Woods, was never contracted to them, but used blank-headed Mizuno irons to win some of his major championships. It's well documented on the internet. Nick Faldo won some of his opens with some blank Mizuno irons. They've been used by the world's best, and there's a reason why the world's best players want to use this iron. For those of you who don't know a huge amount about Mizuno, I'm not going to give you a history lesson in it, but they've been going for a long time. They go back to 1906, and golf is just a very small part of Mizuno's business. They're a huge sporting company. Just 16% of their income comes from golf. They're big into running, they're big into baseball, football boots or soccer boots, depending on where you're coming from. All sorts of things that they make and manufacture. But as I say, they've always had this pedigree of making fantastic irons. And the latest offering, which replaced the MP-18 irons, which is about a 2-year cycle, is the MP-20. And I'm going to talk about the blade today, what Mizuno are calling a tapered blade. We'll maybe touch on that a little bit later, but let's give you some images, let's give you some facts on this club. I've got a 7 iron in my hand here, 34 degrees of loft, which is absolutely standard for Mizuno. They won't change those lofts, I don't think. As I said, it's called the tapered blade officially. The big thing here that they've done, and you might have seen images of a copper headed looking this, it doesn't come in a copper finish. What happens is you've got 3 different layers. You've got the forged grain flow head, then you've got this very thin layer of copper. I think the rep told me, and I might be wrong this, it's 5 microns thick, which is about the thickness of a sort of a bill, a dollar bill, a pound note. It's very, very thin. They overlay the copper on top of the grain flow forging, and then they put the chrome plating on top of that. Now, the idea of this copper plate is feel. Here's the interesting thing. They've done this before. If you go back into some of the legendary blades, forgive me reading my notes, too much to remember here. Last seen on the MP-29. Any of you remember the MP-29? That was pretty classic. MP-14 had this copper underlay, and the legendary Tommy Nakajima 87, I kind of vaguely remember those. They were very hard to get your hands on, but they had the copper underlay. This process was introduced in Japan's domestic Mizuno Pro line in 2017, and the testing suggested that this legendary feel on the older blade was due to a layer of copper. So they decided to go back to something they'd done before, which is not unusual for golf manufacturers to do, and the whole deal here is to give you feel. Now, we'll talk a little bit about this feel when we get into the hitting area, which we'll do very shortly. Should we touch on cost? Copper's expensive. I mean, grain flow forging is expensive. Combined and chrome plating is expensive, and the time and the sort of care that's put into making a set of Mizuno irons is expensive. Put all that together, the cost of these is going to be high. I don't have exact costs yet, but I'm thinking that a set of these, say 7 irons, is going to be sort of in the region of about £1,200 sterling. and people are somewhere between 1100 and 12, I'm not sure yet. And people are going to gasp at that and say, wow, that's expensive. But hey, look at what's happening with some of the Callaway blades, £2,000 a set, PXG, double that if you want to. Titleist, you know, forged irons, you're looking at similar sort of cost. So, hey, it is what it is. They're an expensive club and they're designed for the discerning customer. And normally the discerning customer is not afraid to pay big bucks to get what he wants. So there we go. I'm going to take this into the hitting area and we'll have a little bit of fun with it. So let's go. Okay, everybody, we've made it to the hitting area with the rather beautiful Mizuno MP-20 blade. Let's touch upon a little bit about who this club would be aimed at. This is where the debate opens up every time we talk about blades. You know, what sort of handicap golfer, what sort of golfer should you be using this club? Anyone who wants to use it is probably the easiest way. If you're looking for a club which will really tell you where you're striking the ball on the face and give you some feedback on that, this club's going to help you. If you're the sort of golfer who's looking for a bit of help, get away with those off-centre hits, looking for a bit more distance, this club probably isn't going to help you. So we'll leave it at that. I get all sorts of replies saying I started with blades, it made me a better ball striker. I kind of get that. I've also had people say I bought a set of blades and I couldn't use them and it made my golf worse. I get that as well. So it's really down to the individual on how you make that decision. Told you I've got 7 iron, 34 degrees of loft even, NS Pro motor shaft in a 120 gram stiff, and Callaway golf balls on the deck. Green set down there at about 150-ish, 155 I think. Let's hit some. Not surprised that the first shot has gone a little bit left and missed the green. Inflates the yardage a little bit. I just caught that as it went through, 155 yards of carry. We'll talk about this feel aspect in a minute. Let's see if we can just hit a green. That would be good. That should hit target. Pushed it a little bit. Strike wise, how did it feel? Pretty good. I give that a solid 8 out of 10. Let's bring some stats up for you. Have a little look. So there's my average sort of club speed. As I hit more balls, I'm probably going to push that up 3, 4, 5 miles an hour. I never normally swing a 7 iron much faster than 84, 85 miles an hour. That one's come in at just under 80. Remember, my GC2 slightly underdoes club speed. It measures ball speed really accurately, so you could look at that one at 108. I've got 148 yards of carry, and I've got a backspin rate there, let's call it 6,000. So strike was okay. Launching at about 19 degrees. Remember, I'm quite a low ball launcher. We're going to hit one more, and then we'll talk about this feel thing which goes on. How does it look? Absolute classic. I mean, it's a classic Mizuno, thin top edge, compact blade, rounded, thin sole, beautiful. You know, what else can you say about it? It's classic. That was probably a better strike than the first one and the second one. Knocked that one to about 6-7 feet. Let's see what happened on that one. Club speed's similar. Strike was, I would say, a little bit better than the previous one. Again, 146 carry. Spin's gone up a little bit to 6.2. I'm going to hit one more, and then I'm going to give you my honest opinion of what I think of this golf club. Oh, no. That's the kiddie. That's about as good as I can hit it. Ooh, nearly hold it. Exciting. Very interesting to get these numbers back though. So I've absolutely hit that pretty much as good as I can. I could probably get a bit more club speed out of it. Round again, it was 108 ball speed, 147 carry, spin rate at 6.2. So you can see this is not a distance club for me. I'm struggling to hit this, you know, much more than sort of 150, might get 155 carry. But that's what I'd expect from this sort of club. You know, this is a very much a precision golf club. Feel, I've talked about this feel before and people have laughed at it. Can I feel? Well, I've got to be honest, on this club, it does feel pretty soft. Am I going to say buttery soft? There you go, I've said it. Hate that expression, but I've said it. When you catch out the middle, it feels beautiful. Now, a lot of that will depend on the golf ball you're hitting. If you're hitting a top flight or a brick, you ain't going to get much feel off it. But yeah, with a good ball out the middle, it does what it says it should do. It feels beautiful. It's precision from instrument, folks. If you're into blades, you ain't going to find a lot better than this. As always, go and get a custom fit. Go and see your local Mizuno custom fit center like me and get some help. Interesting stat the rep told me yesterday that in the previous model, the MP-20, 80% of the sets were blended. So it was a mixture of the MP-20 blade, the split cavity, and the MCC multi-material compound one, which had the tungsten titanium. I'm going to do reviews on the other two clubs and we're expecting very much the same. We're expecting people to blend these together and mix the models to create a fantastic set. That's what we're thinking. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the first look at the MP-20 iron. It's a beauty, it's a classic. People are going to love it and rightly so. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, post your comments down below. Bye for now.